I have a gift idea for the speaker on your Christmas list. And if it's after Christmas when you see this video, you can still get it. And hey, you can even get it for yourself. That's not against the rules. You ready? This is the speaker's blueprint. 5 essentials when building a great speech. You catch that? Blueprint, building, it's dripping with metaphor already. This book is on Amazon and it is by Brian Woolf. Woolf is spelled W-O-O-L-F. It's the third in a trilogy. The first book is The Speaker's Toolbox, and the other book is The Non-Humorist's Handbook. I can't show you that because I lent my copy to somebody else. You don't need to read those 2 books in order to understand the speaker's blueprint. You should read them because they're great books. But let me tell you why you need to get the speaker's blueprint for the speaker in your life, or yourself if you are the speaker in your life. If you've been enjoying my series Best in the World, then you need to get in on this book. Brian has analyzed speeches from some of the best speakers in the world. That includes world champions and Hall of Famers. So if you liked hearing me pick their brains for a tip or 2 based on a 5-minute video, Brian does that in much greater detail. He has transcribed a lot of full speeches and he has pulled out the things that make them great. So you'll get real life examples from real speeches that these people have delivered and have made them famous. Brian analyzes these speeches against a framework called POKER. You're going to have to buy the book to learn what POKER stands for. Even though the speaker's blueprint is a very easy read, you may have trouble getting past the first essential, the one that starts with the letter P. You see, under the P for, you'll find out what the P in POKER stands for when you buy the book. But under the P, you will find an extensive write-up of my greatest speech, my magnum opus, In Lieu of Flowers, or Breaking the Tyranny of Tradition. Brian analyzed that speech, and when I read his analysis, I thought, I did that? Really? Yeah, Brian picked up things in that speech that I didn't even know I did. You might think I know that speech better than anyone in the world, and now I can say I do know that speech better than anyone in the world because I've read Brian's analysis of it. That's how keen his insight is. He taught me things that I didn't even know. So if you have ever watched my speech In Lieu of Flowers, and just in case you have not watched it, go to the video section on my website. You will find it there in its entirety. If you have ever watched it and wondered what makes it so compelling, Brian will be able to give you a few answers to that question in his book, The Speaker's Blueprint. If you know me personally, you may be tempted to just read Brian Woolf's analysis of my speech and then put the book away. I urge you to power through your nepotism, read the entire book. Like I said, it's a very easy read. Brian is a distinguished Toastmaster. As well, he's a fellow former finalist in the World Championship of Public Speaking. He knows a thing or 2 about getting his point across, and he puts that on full display in this book of his. To say that Brian Woolf is a student of speaking is a vast understatement. Scholar of speaking is more like it. He watches every speech from the Toastmasters International Convention. That's every semi-finalist and finalist speech, and until recently, that meant over 100 speeches at each convention. Plus, I don't know how many TED Talks he's taken in. So he has painstakingly curated the ones that illustrate his POKER framework and has written about them. So to sum up, that's The Speaker's Blueprint by Brian Woolf, W-O-O-L-F. If you or someone you know is a speaker who wants to improve, get on Amazon and get yourself a copy of this book. Get it now, before Christmas, if there's still time. That way, when you're at one of your terrible family gatherings, you know, the ones where your relatives are yelling at each other about which political party is destroying your country the fastest, all you have to do, find yourself a nice quiet corner, curl up with this book, and you can start making yourself a better speaker. And together, we, that's you, I, people like Brian Woolf, together we are going to lay boring speeches to rest by giving them the last rites.